I just wanted to jump in here to give you a quick disclaimer. Today's video is not meant for children. Kids shouldn't be on YouTube in general, that's what YouTube Kids is for, but today I'll be talking about certain darker topics, which I usually talk about. Just because I say things in a tone that's more so as a joke doesn't mean that they're not serious, because they are. I usually talk in this way because it's my own way of dealing with things. So I just wanted to come in here and say, click off if you're a kid.
Hello, how are you? In this video I will be doing an actual full illustration because last time I more so did a sketchbook page where I just kind of drew out an incoherent thought of an idea I was having for something I'm planning more ahead. So this time I'm doing an actual spread because I have another thought, but this one is actually sort of coherent. And we'll get straight into it because I want to. So, my thought is making big rectangles. How many? 1, 2, I guess 4? 4 would be fine. I was thinking about an illustration about Selena because my girl, I draw her a lot. Never would I have thought that I would draw her so much, right? Actually, I would have thought that you wouldn't. People barely know her. But the thing is, Selena's story is very violent. Like her backstory and even her character in itself. And I want to make something sort of representative of that. So, I don't know exactly how I'm going to do this. I just know that it will be like kid, right? Kid, preteen, teen, and adult. So that's sort of the idea I'm going for. That will be my concept. I just don't know exactly what I will do in each one of these. I think I know the teen one, right? That one is very clear, but I don't know these two. This one's going to be heavy, and this one probably too, because should we get into sea lore? I guess I didn't when I started this whole thought, stay there. When I started this whole thought, when was it? A few days ago I had this idea. I sort of thought to myself like, oh, I'll make an illustration that sort of shows Selena's character, right? And what took her to become who she becomes. And I didn't put much more thought to it. Except that, Selena's story is very heavy. She's very violent towards men specifically, because everything that could go wrong with the fact that she was born female happens to her. Or at least most stuff. So, that's something that she gotta figure out throughout her life. Preteen, I have no idea. I know the teen one. But how am I going to draw this without it being absolutely horrible? Complicated thought to have. I'll focus on this one, I guess. To draw kids, man. Kids are a complicated one. Because you gotta sort of shorten the anatomy. But not so much. I don't know. Because I draw in this more cartoonish style, I really gotta keep that in mind. And also keep in mind how people actually work, Give me a moment, I'll show you something. Because, was it last year? I think it was last year I actually did like a drawing where Selena was in these different age groups. So I could get that sketchbook. It wasn't this guy right here. Another sketchbook that I had made along with this one, right? So, stay there. I don't remember where. Dude, look at this. Damn. Crazy. Oh, right here. I didn't think it was this early on, this sketchbook, but this is what I'm going for. These. It's sort of a spin-off on this, I guess. I'll keep it on the side here so that I can see it, you don't, but sure. I don't know if I should say much about, Should I? I don't know. Lots of horrible things happen, okay? To Selena in her life. It's complicated. Usually by men, of course, right? We gotta keep things real. People will get mad at me for that. I don't care. And the thing is, later on she will have like this thing of like not liking men, obviously, and becoming actually violent towards them. She has this thing of usually glorifying women, and then she starts dating this one woman and things go wrong because guess what? Everyone's a piece of shit. So she has to learn that all over again and not let it impact her to just completely isolate herself and not talk to anyone ever again. So, fun experience, right? Wow, really great. I still have to sort of figure that out. It's a concept that I started exploring more recently. I already knew that something like that should happen, of her dating a woman and something going wrong that makes her realize that everyone's a piece of shit independent of gender, and learning to, because I knew that she'd have to learn to live around men again even after everything that happens. But how, right? Other than just simply existing around men and sort of realizing, maybe I should stop generalizing everyone, right? Maybe I should do that. What brings her to that realization other than just living around them? Because if she is violent towards them, she wouldn't want to be around them, so she isn't. I don't know. I've sort of been exploring that recently. That's fun, making my OC suffer. I know the child one, but what do I do for the rest, right? I could simply work on the kid here. But then what about the rest of them? I have no idea. I have an idea for you specifically. I know what you are, but I'm really not in the mood to get there, and I know what you will be. You will be the aftermath, right? Oh, okay. I think I've got something figured out for you specifically. So fun. We are going to talk about what? Exactly, religious trauma. Haha. Yippee, yoo-hoo, woo, party. Because, well, why would we ever be happy in this household? Never. You think any of my C's are happy? They aren't. Everyone's suffering. If I suffer, they do too. Am I suffering? Who knows? My best friend knows. But I think it's cute that Selena's hair just starts growing over time. Like, it's really short, then starts getting long, and then it's long, and then she gets into a coma, right? She kind of dies, and when she comes back, she will never cut her hair. I think that's fun. Usually when I think of characters getting older, or people getting older in general, I think of, you know, cutting your hair, because it's a lot more convenient to have it short. I could say that, except that I have, like, extremely long hair. Can you even hear those birds? I'll just pretend everything is fine, okay? It's interesting that I went the route of making her have longer hair instead of shorter hair. It also sort of defies the logic of the religious trauma, because usually, you know how it is. Oh, don't cut your hair. Hair is something so pure and it shows power. You think I'm Samson? No, bro. That ain't it. Even he got his hair cut and that didn't change shit. Ignore me. Oh my god. What the fuck am I talking about? Anyways, we're going to add huge cross across this. Damn, crossing. Ooh, that's crazy. This, I have 3 different ideas for this, but I don't want any of those, because if I do that, I'm going to get cancelled, guys. Actually, I think that most of the things I've said in this episode can already get me cancelled, and I don't care. This one, I know what this one is going to be, but I don't know how I'm going to approach that idea specifically, so I'll think about it still. And you will have... Should I go that route? I won't go that route because later on that comes back and it's a good thing. Okay? What is that route? Ruffles. We love him ruffles and we love him, I don't know. It's interesting to know that the hoodie is always... Here I drew her with Jellyfish jacket, but this hoodie is still alive and she still will use it even in this version. So, interesting to know it came that early on. Oh, guess we can draw it. This whole page, I think I'm going to finish my black marker today, guys. I think that will happen again. So she grows, right? But how much? A lot. This, very oversized, so that it still is oversized later on. Complicated. Why am I talking like a caveman? I've recently had this thing. When did it start? A few days ago. I don't know when. But I just started talking like a caveman and now I cannot stop anymore. And it's just my new thing. Now I'm caveman angel. Cannot deal with that. We will all just have to praise the new caveman angel. And be happy about it. Or not, you can be unhappy. Because I don't know how to speak. Sometimes I think I have this random thought when I'm just doing random shit. Usually cleaning, right? Because you gotta clean the house and whenever you're cleaning or you just sort of space out. Or at least I do. Great time to think. What do I think about? Caveman angel, caveman angel, caveman angel. Oh yeah, about how I don't know how to speak because English isn't my first language. So then I'm like, well, maybe I just don't know how to connect words because it isn't my first language. But the thing is, I don't even know how to speak correctly in my first language. And neither any of the other two languages that I know how to speak outside of my first language in English. That's complicated. I just don't know how to speak. That's the premise of my life situation. So now we have a horrible issue, which is that I had to pause this recording to go help my mom with something, and now I don't know what was the last thing I said. So I'ma just continue like nothing ever happened, and I'ma just be happy, and I could tell you about the process of what I'm doing here, or what my idea is. I didn't tell you. So, I'll leave you for a bit. Give me a moment. Also, I came back with some Coke because we gotta be happy, right? I'm using this Pelican pastel pencil that is kind of dirty because I don't know what happened to him, honestly. In orange because I don't know as well. It usually blends in with the skin tone better and gives an overall warmer look, which is honestly not what I'm going for with this, so I don't know why I'm using it. I'm just used to it. And I'm using this because these pastel pencils usually, they blend in with alcohol markers. We will be using some of those. And if we don't like something, we got the acrylic. So... that's my plan, right? Doing stuff, then alcohol, and then acrylics. If there's something. Probably there will be. Also, I should get my other markers out because those are darker than these pastel ones. And I have to admit, I honestly want this to be dark, so... I'll have to keep that in mind. Also, I need to find those few blue markers that I have because in this story a lot of horrible things happen, right? It's very... I don't know if I would say that this is a horror story per se, but it has horror elements to it. And usually when you do horror, you use darker colors. Usually a lot of black and dark tones, right? What movies usually do is use yellow to give a sense of urgency and warning, like a warning sign that has black and yellow on it. Or you could use black and red, which is the usual horror combo. I don't use any of those. In my stories, I use black and blue for horror themes because usually the themes I'm representing with horror are sadder themes, and blue is the sadder, melancholic color. So I usually go for that to mix in with the horror theme. I don't want to go that route. I really don't. That Selena usually has those straps around her thighs and then just keeps weapons there because she's always on the verge of feeling like something is going horribly wrong. So she's trying to be prepared for that. Why do I traumatize my UC so much? I have no idea. Maybe I'm just unhappy myself and I want them to be unhappy too. I don't know. At some point I should challenge myself and write an actual, I don't know if happy story, but something that isn't as heavy as this. Maybe Little Miss Future would have been that. I'll just have to go for it, okay? If I get cancelled, I will get cancelled, and there's nothing I can do other than apologize and learn from my mistakes. There is horror involved. There is a thing I want to do. How do those bullet things look like? I need a reference. Hello computer, turn on. Okay, I found the reference. And what am I looking for, you ask? It's a deer getting shot because people hate deer and I don't know why. Honestly though, why the fuck do people hate deer? I even searched for it online at some point because I don't get it. Deer are so cute. And they hunt them down just because, I don't know, people hate deer. And I will never understand it. What I've seen Google tell me, which I don't know if it's true or not, is because they rub their their horns on trees and that kills trees. But since when did human beings care about trees? People cut down trees all the time and don't plant them back. You think now they care? I think that people actually just want to see something innocent that can't do anything but look cute and sad run away for their life. And I guess people just get a pleasure with that. Which is sad to think about, but I think it's the honest truth. So if you hear my voice going further away, it's because I have a mirror beside me over there and I'm looking at my reflection to figure out how anatomy works. So something like this. Then, but this isn't going to just use this pack of sanding paper and sort of, oh, that's how. See? We do something like this. I don't know how a gun works. I'm laughing because I'm remembering a Distractable episode. The one where it's like, what is it? Get Mad Libs, I think is the name. I've rewatched it so much that I can honestly remember names at this point. I think it's Get Mad Libs, where it's like, Bob has a new hobby. He likes cars, but now he likes guns. Oh man. I love Distractable. My whole humor is based off of that. Plus trauma, but we don't talk about that. Anyways, we have a new hobby now. We don't like cars anymore, we like guns. We don't, okay? We don't. Don't go out liking guns, okay? Don't be American. Yes, America, everyone outside the country you live in, which is the US. We all think y'all are crazy and like guns, which isn't a lie most of the time. Guys, I'm going to get canceled. Oh god, is this it? Is this the episode? So we have cross. We have cross but gun. We have gun plus knives. I should put more stuff here. She's going to stab her intimate areas, but it's the other way around, so it won't, okay? You are... Aggression! I have to deal with you, and I know I do, but I don't want to, because it's horrible. You know what? I'm getting cancelled already. I might as well go with the idea that I was having. You stay there. I actually don't know I have this out. I like how it is looking. In a sense, everything is kind of connected. Here we have like Selena with a very scared expression, right? Then we have her very non-expressive. Then we have a very scared expression again. And then we have her going back to non-expressive. It really shows how growing up is like. Of course, as a kid, you're very scared. I don't know if everyone has this era when you're a preteen that you become a piece of shit. I don't know if it's universal, but it's sort of like you're a preteen, you decide to be a horrible human being, and then you're like, well, I'll have to deal with this for the rest of my life now, I guess, and be sorry for it and deal with the consequences. So then you become a better person that takes you nowhere. Not you, I mean her in this case. This is universal, I think. At this point, everyone I've met sort of has had this experience. So then you're a teen, you become better. In her case, she becomes better, realizes that that takes her nowhere, goes back to being a piece of shit, but even worse. Just getting worse and worse, guys. Getting worse and worse. She gets better after this. Let's start with this one, because I know that this is going to go very wrong. So I want to focus on blue and black, because that's the horror thing. The thing is, if her skin is warmer in a blue lighting, it would turn purplish, right? You think? I'm gonna be crazy. Should I outline something? I guess I should, right? Be like, oh yeah, maybe you should actually know how and where things are sort of going, so that you, because I just said that using colored pencils blends into stuff. So we don't want to lose that, right? Not everything. I think that with this I will be able to see things better. Add a little tank top. Oh, roughly little skirt. That's so cute for the horrible things that this girl goes through in her life. This is all my fault. I decided that she wasn't going to be happy. Can I complain? No. Can she complain? Definitely. Look, if Selena found me in real life, she would kill me for all the horrible things that happened to her and everyone else. At some point I decided no one was going to be happy anymore. I think that they are going to take revenge at some point, honestly. So why don't we put some layers down now and we add some cool stuff. Oh. I'm just going to add a big blob of purple. Selena is very warm, so in blue lighting, I think that her whole being would be purplified. Oh yeah, we do not want to smudge the pencil, huh? Graphite does not blend in as well as colored pencils does. Holy shit! I don't know how the words working. Ooh, caveman angel. There he goes again. You know, this whole thing kind of makes me wanna sing. Usually when I draw, I'm singing in the back. You don't hear it because I don't record live. I'm not recording live, I'm just recording me speaking at the same time as I'm drawing. I don't usually do that. And I made a poll recently asking you all, what do you prefer when I speak directly or when I do voiceovers? Unfortunately for me, you all said speaking directly. So imagine me speaking for I don't know how long straight. I speak for like over 15 minutes. I already start losing my voice, so that's fun for me. For my disgrace as well, I breathe a lot. You know how human beings kind of breathe. That's very annoying to me, and I do that. Not that when others do, but when I do it, because I can hear myself. But when I'm hearing others, they don't breathe and speak. I breathe and speak, and that's very bad for me. For my mental health, that is, because I kind of go crazy. Why am I telling you all of this? I have no idea. I have no idea what I'm talking about anymore. So I'm just kind of blabbing. Isn't it nice watching the end of my career unfold right before you? I'm just thinking about it while I'm here painting. And I just kind of want to sing, you know, kind of pretend like I'm in La La Land or whatever. I've never watched that movie. Musical movie. I don't know. You think I watch anything? I don't watch movies, which might be crazy to some people. I don't really like movies. Too much effort. Never really. There are movies that I like, don't get me wrong. I just don't go after them. I'm too lazy for that. Why? I don't know. I could say like, oh, it's because you have to sit in front of a screen and watch the same thing for like 2 hours straight. But that ain't it. I have shows that I really like watching. For example, I'm watching Gilmore Girls for the, I don't know, 7th time already. Me and my mom have a tendency to watch that. It's like our show. Also, OC California, we're rewatching that for the 2nd time. Her 3rd. She was there when it was happening, you know. I was kind of young, so I was more interested in doing other stuff, like running outside and touching grass, because the year was 2000 and something. So, you know, the internet was there, but things weren't as internet-y as they are now. Ugh, great era to touch grass. I miss touching grass. I wish I could have gone outside today. Today the grass looked so good, and I'm not grassing there. So sad. But tomorrow I will touch grass, and that makes me happy. I will also have an anxiety attack, once again. But I will be happy. And that's all that matters. Now you ask me, will you be happy though if you're having an anxiety attack? The answer is, I hope so. I hope nothing goes wrong. Things have a tendency to go wrong in my life because I'm very unlucky. Now I think I can add blue. The thing is, I should have added... You know what, guys? Let's change everything up for a bit. Let's go straight in with black. Why? Because I said so. I want to do something. This is a random Faber-Castell multi-mark winner 54/E permanent marker, okay? And it's made in Peru. Why? I have no idea. To me, Faber-Castell was a German thing. I don't live in Peru. I don't know why this country decided, no, let's import it straight from Peru. Sure, as long as it works for you, babe. I want everything to be sort of dark. This is going to complicate me. I could use acrylic markers. Might do that a lot easier than doing the outlining. I just don't know if I will remember. That's my issue with everything I do. Will Angel have enough attention span to go through with her initial idea? Let's find out. Oh, I hate this. I hate everything about this. Not the drawings. The drawings are fine. It's a sketchbook. I'm just kind of having fun. I just hate that this happens to her, and it's all my fault. So, can I really complain? No, I'm the one who did it, but I'm not happy about it. Just because I do something doesn't mean I have to like it. That's some advice when you're drawing. Just because you do something doesn't mean you have to like it. That doesn't mean that you have to be unhappy about it. Thanks. Now pay me $50 because I'm a coach now. I'm joking. But that's how coaching works, right? Guys, if I start selling courses, telling you about how you should sell courses, would you buy? I don't know what the fuck is going on anymore. I think that this should be smaller when she's a kid. Sure, it looks fine. I just carved it out really nicely with this black marker. I don't want to ruin that. Should the floor be black? I say that as I color it in. I've made up my mind. I can't go back now. Unless I use these. Me with my acrylic markers. You know, sometimes I think about maybe I should buy a bigger set, but then I'm like, I'll have so many markers then. I should use those up and then deal with the fact that I want more or something. Ugh. I gotta drink liquids because my body is killing me. It already wants to stop speaking. Now you're like, Angel, why don't you just stop speaking and come back when you feel better? That ain't how life works. Unfortunately, not for me. I will do something different from society once again. Because we're different from society here. If you ever wonder why I say different from society, oh, that's one hell of a juicy marker. Aren't we happy about that? If you ever wonder why I say we're different from society, or I'm different from society, or she's different from society, it's because of a thing that happened to my best friend. When they were at school, a guy just walked up to them and was like, you know, I stalked your whole social media account, and like, not that I was stalking you, but I was stalking your whole social media account, and I saw some stories you posted and your highlights and whatnot. You know, I was just wondering, right? You're different from society, right? Like you're different. And that stuck with us. We say it till now. That was, I don't know, 2-3 years ago? I have no idea. Look, time flies by, okay? That needs to be black. Come back here. I don't know, that's sort of how we deal with life. We just decide to own things up and make fun of them. To me, this kind of stuff doesn't happen. Should I be fortunate about it or unfortunate? I don't know. Usually when things happen to me, things are, I don't know, sad and violent. Instead of having good phrases that impact life, not just my own, but everyone's around me. Cool stuff, damn. Should I have gone with a blue that wasn't so dark? Most probably. Will I? Nope. Anyways, that's why I say the different from society thing. At some point, now that I think about it, I should make shirts for us that says that. My voice is dying. It's starting, guys. It's starting. Do I even force my voice? Do I force my voice when I do these? That's the thing to think about. I'm going to add like a blue outline because, I don't know. You think I know what I'm doing? I'm just kind of going for it and having fun. I'm not having much fun because my voice is dying and I'm kind of in pain, but you know, we gotta make the best of the situation we're in. This is all my fault. I have to own up to it. I feel like that's happening a lot today, ain't it? I'm gonna glue now. Ooh. I have this lavender mist color. I really like this lavender mist color. Do you see it? I really want to use it. I think it blends in nicely with this one. Guys, can you realize that just a few days ago I realized that there were other markers than this one? Like, I know that there's the Chow one, but I didn't realize that this is Copic Sketch. And there's just a Copic one, normal, if I'm not mistaken. I don't remember exactly what it's called, but I thought that this was the normal one. Realizing new things about Copics every single day. Do they change my life? Absolutely not. There is nothing really that interesting about that fact, but you know, it's something to think about. I have a question though. Have any of you tried the Copic Acrya, the acrylic markers that Copic made? Because acrylic markers are going ham right now. Why am I asking? I have no idea. I've been really into acrylic markers and I've been using these cheap ones, so I imagine the Copic ones are really expensive, right? Because it's Copic and everything comes from Japan and it's Copic related. So, I don't know. People say they're good, but how good are they? Are they worth their price? Or are they not? I don't know. Do they have any difference from, let's say, I don't know, not Posca, but like, let's say Artex or Enmi? Enmi is another brand that I've been seeing popping up a lot. I wish I could try them, but guys, we don't have the budget for that. Not that it really matters anyways. I can use these and I'm happy with them. I have no need for any other ones. It would just be cool. So let's not get deep into that. I think that I want something degrading up. So I'm going to make a mistake now. This is what my whole life is about. Me looking at something, I'm like, I'm going to make a mistake now. But we are going to make a mistake in a smart way, okay? We're going to slowly creep up. This has to be blendy. Haha. I'm rhyming, guys. I'm rhyming. Good. Now darker. Which one of you are darker? Why don't I know how to conjugate words? What is my issue? You could be normal, you know? I'm talking to myself. Instead you decided, no, I'm going to be different from society. love that. Anyways, I'm liking that. See? You are seeing that. I'm not as stupid as I thought I was. But look, sometimes I really surprise myself with how stupid I actually am. I can't even deny it. Some like shadow going over the face, you know, the anime shadow. We need that. Why? Drama. We gotta be dramatic. Also add something like down here. I like the colors of that. I think that now I can define things a bit more. I think that I have a darker blue. I have this Sharpie, which is a brush nib. You always gotta be careful because it explodes. We have this guy, and I know that he is very dark. This is what I usually imagine for my... Oh, holy shit, don't sniff that. Holy shit. This is what I imagine my horror illustrations to be. This color right there. You've got to be careful with this though. He is a dangerous boy. I could be smart and do this right here and blend it in this way, because then it blends with the marker ink, which would be the smart thing to do. Will I do that? I guess I should. If I say it's the smart thing to do, why wouldn't I follow that? The issue is that it's two different types of ink in a sense. They're both alcohol markers, so it should technically work, but I don't know how they actually make the ink, the components they use and whatnot. So who knows how well they actually do blend together. Only the brands would know. But it's working out fine for now, so we pretend everything's fine, right? Everything's fine, but now nothing is going wrong. Except for her. Everything's going wrong for her, but I don't know, we pretend everything's fine. Worst song ever to sing with what I'm drawing, damn. So now we have finished this, and now we will work on those. Put these down. I layered paper beneath because at least the paper absorbs it. While if this gets ink on it, like it is here, and you use markers on top, it will transpass again. I've had that happen way too many times. I should clean that sheet with alcohol, but I don't. Now for this, I wonder, can I go darker? That is what I'll be trying to do now. So let's start carving it out again. This time I'm not going to even use a pencil. I'm going to go with the faith of the Lord and just start doing things. You know, while I was painting here, I started thinking about the end of my career that never even started. And I don't know, I love you all. I'm sorry that I've ended like this, going down the same path everyone always does. And I'm just joking. Well, at least I didn't end my career like Ethel Cain did. Or better saying, Hayden and Adonia. So that's something, I guess. Gotta stay positive. Now all of her fans coming after me. Why? Oh, you don't want to get me started on that, okay? Don't get me started on that. If I start talking about the actual story, that means that I will have to talk about the actual story. The story starts in between Selena coming back to life, I guess, in a sense, basically waking up from her coma. But a bit before that, still, shit is going down, right? You know how I have the celestial beings that are the giants from the Bible, but worse or something along those lines. More powerful in a sense because they know how to control themselves usually, but they can still lose it very easily and whatever. Angels don't like them because obviously they're their mistakes, quote unquote. So they want to get rid of them. So at some point the president's father comes to try and get rid of him, right? Because we know, president, celestial being. Woohoo. And he has never met his father. That's the first time he ever sees that guy. So that's very fun for him. Very happy family reunions, right? Oh, wow. They're fighting. The president's daughter that he had lost more than a decade ago, I think. I don't know the exact years. Because, oh, you think I do math? No. I prefer not doing math, even though I love doing math. He comes back as like this huge thing. Like this, he comes back, right? As an anthropomorph. And just destroys the guy. The guy being the president's father. You know how the president doesn't have an arm? He lost his arm when he lost his daughter because he had to leave her behind somewhere safe because of demons attacking him, because the forest is kind of like that. Congrats, humanity, you've made a portal to hell. Then his arm gets ripped off in the middle of that. Unfortunately, his daughter has to watch that happen. So he doesn't have an arm. He creates himself an arm with crystals because the celestial beings crystallize to like stop bleeding. He makes himself a new arm basically, which is odd because usually celestial beings aren't supposed to be able to control this crystallization so well, especially to create like a whole new limb. So that really goes to show this guy very dangerous. So his father comes to kill him, whatever. His daughter comes, rips his arm off because trauma comes back to haunt you, I guess. So that's very unhappy. But then Henry, which somehow he was able to create like a sort of, because he uses arrows, right? He makes like a sort of arrow that is able to stop them, sort of tranquilizer. Shoots it at her. She doesn't stop immediately. She still is able to rip his arm off. And then she runs away because you think she's staying? Nah, bro. Over a decade later? Never. So that's cool. Why am I telling you this? I have no idea how I got into this. I'm just telling you the story now. So then they decide to go, right? First of all, they help, you know, the president's father to stop the bleeding, right? That's not cool, whatever. Despite everything, they still help him and like take care of him. Specifically the movie, which has to be really careful so that he doesn't get the guy's blood on him, because he would just burn to death. And after that, the president goes crazy again. He went crazy already way back when. That's how his whole sort of mafia thing started, trying to find his daughter after he lost her. So then he again, you know, sort of goes into that, because after he starts dating Zachary and then they get married, he sort of calms down. You know, he sort of realizes, well, I guess this is it. I might as well try to be happy and stop destroying people's lives with this anymore. Well, that all goes to hell when he sees her again, and he's like, whoop, I need her. So he goes and like orders his, how do you say it? The people who work for him, right? Just in a bad way, to do everything they can to find her, obviously. And one of those people is Jellish, who is a hitman in disguise. He works at day as a mechanic, and at night he is a hitman, sometimes when he's needed. Usually to kill people that aren't people, they aren't humans, they're demons in disguise, because the president knows everything. Horrible people do horrible things, and this whole story is involved with horrible people. No, I don't think anyone in the story is actually good. Damn. So Jellish is sent to find the president's daughter at all costs, so he starts wandering through the forest thinking like, well, maybe she's around here, I might as well go like back home and figure something out. So he decides to go a different route, a longer route, in a place that is like full of hydrangeas in the forest. And as he's walking around there, he just sees something like glowing red in the distance, and like from the side of his eye, from his peripheral vision, and he's like, oh, that's odd. So he goes back, right? He takes a step back and is like, let me check that out, and finds Selena just unconscious there. And it's like, wait a minute, hold on. So he carries her back to his place and is like, this is my brother's childhood friend, for which he has been suffering for months now, not being able to forget himself for what he put her through and what they've been through, and he didn't do anything. Jellish finds Selena and is like, oh, I gotta take her back. Maybe she's kind of dying of hypothermia here, I might as well take her back, and I'll deal with the rest whenever she gets up, right? So he takes her back, tries to warm her up, and at some point, as he's frying eggs, she comes to her senses again, right? She wakes up from her 2-year coma. Doesn't know where she is, even though she knows what the place is, because the house that Jellish stays in is hers. And she's like, what the fuck? I was kidnapped, so I need to get out of here. Gets up, goes to the living room, sees a random guy eating fried eggs on a countertop. And is like, nope. So she tries to stumble her way out, really weak still, because kind of malnourished. He goes after her, being like, hey, whoa, calm down, wait, hold on, you will hurt yourself if you do that. They have this thing where they're coming and going, and he's trying to calm her down and like trying to make her sit down to explain stuff, and she's just biting him. Try everything in her power to get out of there. She isn't able to, because she's too weak and malnourished for that. She is forced to sit down on the couch. He's like, well, calm down. Look, I know that this is weird, but I am your childhood friend. And yippee, you remember me? And she's like, of course I remember you. You look the same. Only thing is you're taller now. And he's like, yeah, I guess that's one thing, right? Because, you know. So then he has to explain what the fuck is going on. Because she's like, I have to go back. That war just happened. That happened a few years ago. And he's like, well, that's the thing. It happened a few years ago. It's a really complicated thing to deal with. So she's like, nah, bro, you're lying to me. And he's like, nope, unfortunately not. So she has to get her head around the fact that it has been like 2 years since she was awake. First of all, get her forces back to be able to function properly. And then she has to deal with everything else. Everything that happened after she died. And what happened before as well, right? With her relationship with Cave. And even her other friends that will have to watch her come back from the dead and be like, what? How? And so on and so forth. So then they have some time that they spend together, like getting closer, even though Celine doesn't want to. She's still very violent at every single moment. You catch her by surprise, she bites you, kicks you, I don't know. Not very nice, but that's because, guess what? She doesn't like men. She doesn't have any reason to like them either, so, you know, it ain't easy. Not for jealous, at least. But he still tries because he loves being a pushover. He's like me. And keeps trying. He just has this very strong belief at some point things will be different. In his case, things actually do work out in the end, but not now, not yet. So he's like tells her about his day and tries to be just normal and is like telling her about cars because he loves cars. And she's like, you think I care? I wanna fucking leave. And he's like, yeah, but first, you need strength. So eat your soup. Hear me talk, I guess. How about we be friends now? Friends? She was like, I don't know. He acts normally. She still biting. Her whole thing whenever she comes back from the dead is that she sort of acts like a cat at an adoption center that's really aggressive. With love, at some point, you can overcome things. Not always, okay? You gotta know the limits. Sometimes people are just not worth it, unfortunately. So be careful with that. But in this case, things will turn out fine. Because we're writing stories. And stories are different than real life. Last one, guys. Last one. Like, she's on the inside, she gets what he's talking about. Going back to stories, right? Because he, like, tells her about his day, and he's like, you should be nicer, because I am not whoever hurt you. And on the inside, she knows that, but she just can't let go of her defensive side. So she continues. He's not happy about it. He still tries because, oh, what a guy that doesn't give up. Good for him, though, in this case. Not every single one. Not always. Usually doesn't go well. In this case, I guess it does. But after how long? Is it really worth it? You tell me. I don't know. Or you don't, because you don't know all the story, right? And will you ever? Maybe. So at some point she gets better, and she's like, well, no one really needs me. Their lives kind of better without me. Might as well not. you know, not go back. He's like, well, you should go back. My brother misses you and he needs you. Our mother just woke up from a coma that she was in for like years. How long has it been? Like a decade at that point. The only reason she was still there is because her sisters decided to never let her go. At some point, she does wake up from the coma. If you don't know why she's in a coma, I definitely talked about it in some video where I talk about Jelish's story. I don't know which one. It could have been the one where Selena has her back to the camera and Jelish is blushing happily. If I remember to put it here, I will put it here. So she's like, not really. I'm fine here. You know, my guy, my dude. I'm fine here. Please. And he's like, nope. You go back now. So she goes back. I know that in the middle of this, Selena ends up killing someone to go meet Cave at the hospital. Most of it is Jelish doing that because he doesn't want to go to the hospital himself and see his mom again. She goes to the reception. They're like, I know you, but I don't know from where. And she's like, you know, that guy. You know, Cave, and you know, Mrs. Magna K. You know her. I'm here for her. And they're like, only family can get in. And she's like, yeah, I'm actually married to her son, and I really need to see if they're doing fine. And they're like, oh, really now? And she's like, our wedding was great. I used a really nice dress. I remember it like it was yesterday, you know. Damn, all of that satin. Ooh, beautiful. But now he really needs me, so I gotta go in. They're like, okay. Well, he's in this room. You can go there and you can find him and whatever. And she's like, thanks. Aren't you a sweetheart? I knew you'd understand me. So she goes. They're suspicious, but they let her in. And Cave is just watching his mom and being like, damn. I don't even know what the fuck I'm going to do now with all of this. You know, this is going to go very wrong. I'm sure Jelish is not happy about it. I will have to protect him from this. And so Selena walks up behind him and covers his eyes and, you know, she's like, I don't know what she says. I don't remember. I made this whole story and I don't even remember what she says, but then he instantly recognizes, you know, that it's Selena and is like, there is no way. She is dead. What the actual fuck? So he turns around, sees her standing there in front of him and is like, what the fuck? So he gets up, hugs her and has like a whole crying session and is like, yeah. And she's like, damn, poetic words. You're really saying everything right now. And so at some point he's like, how are you alive? And how is any of this possible? And she's like, I just kind of woke up in the forest. And no, I was like, oh, I'm gonna go back now. And he's like, then how are you so clean? And she's like, you know, I kind of woke up in the forest. I smell great, right? You want to sniff me? And he's like, no thanks. And she's like, yeah, I kind of woke up in the forest. He knows that she is lying, and he will definitely pry more into it because there's something wrong. Because if she is lying, of course, right, and she definitely is, which she actually is, that means that she was with someone, and he needs to know with who. Because Jelish and her decide that she should go back without telling anyone that she was with him. Because he wants Cave to think that she came back for him. And that not that she actually didn't want to go back because of him specifically. He knows she's lying. And he doesn't know how he's going to get that information out of her. But he decides to leave it for now because he has other issues to attend to. Because right now his best friend, who is dead legally, is standing in front of him. And his mom, which just woke up from a coma, is beside him, sleeping at that point still. And he has to deal with that. So now he has a lot of things to deal with and is really stressed out. So he's like, well, we should get you checked out because you just woke up in the middle of a forest. And I'm sure that you should get some help, you know. Maybe some food. protein would be great for you. And she's like, yeah, whatever you say. So she has to go do a checkup. Unfortunately, for the guy who does the checkup, he is a guy. She is not happy about that because Cave is not in the room with her. And she's like, don't touch me. And the guy has to touch her because guess what? To draw blood, you kind of have to touch her. And she turns really violent and goes straight for him. And then people have to break in, break them apart. Very great stuff. Then Cave's like, there's something wrong. He starts realizing, well, maybe all of that things that have been happening for years are finally getting to her. I should find a psychologist. So he has to take her home because his mom's unconscious and he has to do stuff as well and deal with her and take her to the police station and figure that out, right? Because she's legally dead and now she isn't. At the way back, he's like, so you just woke up in the middle of a forest? And she's like, oh, yep, exactly it. You do realize that you should not be violent towards people, right? And she's like, you know, I don't care anymore. I don't care about being a good person anymore. Never has it done any good for me. So I might as well just not be. And he's like, nah, girl, that ain't how life be working. That ain't how it is. You will not. And he's like, well, I will talk with my own psychologist and find someone that would be good for you. You know, maybe female at first. Later on, maybe. Who knows? Who knows how that goes? Let's just try something out, you know, fix stuff. She's like, nah, man, I'm fine, bro. And he's like, nah. Maybe just don't, you know. That's something that they have to do. He has to talk to his psychologist and be like, yo, bro, you know someone? Preferably female so that no one dies. And he's like, yeah, bro, I got you. Who is his psychologist? That's right, Henry. Henry, our boy, he will suffer as well. I just know it. At some point, Selena will rip his feathers off. I love that, though. Sometimes I like it when Henry suffers. He just has a nice, slappable face, you know? Not that I would hit him. Selena would, though. And she will. Damn, a lot of things happen in this story. Holy shit. You know, I write these really heavy stories. I explore these heavier topics because shit happens. Let's just say it like that. Which is the worst way that I could say that. I mean, we all know that there is a little bit of myself in everything I do, right? That's the artist part. And the artist curse as well. Having yourself in everything you do. I'm not violent, okay? I just want to make that clear from now. Directly. I keep exploring these darker stories because it's what I'm used to, I guess. And at some point I need to explore happier stuff. But not now. For now we will explore these horrible people and figure out how to make them suffer more. So then they have to deal with all the legal stuff. Like making her come back to life legally. The police being like, what happened to you? And she... Guys, I have terrible news. At some point it stopped recording and I've been talking all this time and for nothing. Oh my god, this is horrible. I have no idea where it stopped. I finished. It is done. She goes back. Cave takes her back. Lots of legal issues to get her houses back to her name. She is sent to the Geometral Academy to hang out with her old friends while Cave works because he can't keep an eye on her. Tells her that she isn't supposed to make a part of the group anymore because he doesn't want her to die again. She goes back, finds a guy, the new guy, the chain guy, that has the same personality of the guy that did this to her, which you know what it is. I cannot say it on YouTube because YouTube hates that. Hates people, hates everything that actually happens to real people. I'm very sorry, but you know what it is. I'm sure of it. You are smart, my guy. He has the same cocky, flirty personality that the guy that did this to her did. And he did this to her because he asked her out. She said, I'm sorry, I don't feel the same way. You will find someone better that loves you the same way you do. He does not take that a good way, you know, so this shit happens. The new guy that has the same personality suffers the consequences. She is not very fond of that. Very aggressive. Yukos has to stop her and keep an eye on her while also doing her job of being the new leader because she abandoned being the leader like her father did. And just went on tour to not deal with her issues. That's basically where I stopped. I'm finished. I like these. I really like blue and black for horror. I'm very glad I did this. It's interesting seeing different stages of Selena, I guess. I could work on this still. Because, damn, these acrylic markers do not want to layer on black. But that's just how life goes sometimes. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoyed watching my career end. I hope you entertained yourself with that. If you hate me, let me know down below. That would be great. If you don't hate me, let me know down below as well. That will also be really reassuring, because I'm sure people will not like everything I've said in this, especially about FLK. People really don't appreciate that, but it's the truth. I have no matter in the say of anything that happened, because it's not about me. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this. It was nice talking to you. I will have to figure out how I'm going to edit all of this, because my god, I recorded so much that even you stopped recording. I hope you have a nice day and night, and I hope to see you next time. Bye!